right, everybody, coming back for the final segment of the show. My name is Rex Ferry, and I am the host and creator of Business to Business Networking. We do a Saturday evening show, but we also podcast and broadcast on YouTube, and we got the Facebook thing going. So if you want to get more information, you want to see any of these guests' beautiful faces on video, we got go to azluxurytour.com, azluxurytour.com on YouTube, and find us, or our website, 123bz.com. Our guests are Danny again.
Danny Jaramillo, Right Away Lending.
And Steve.
Steve West, Century 21 Northwest, one half of the Mother-Son team.
There you go. And Ray.
Ray Jones, Audio Video 360.
And we're going to talk security systems again and this whole story, because this is really cutting news. In fact, we've actually discussed in text back and forth about potential legislation and disclosure requirements. Tell us what you're seeing out there, Ray.
Sure. So what's not being disclosed today, but you would find it like in the solar, there's addendums for solar, right? There's no addendum for smart homes, right? And it really needs to be, part of the process, especially today, because of how long smart homes have been around and the dated equipment. And you have a seller just trying to get out of the house and not update their stuff. And then you got a buyer that comes in and sees touch screens, alarm system, cameras, audio, all this stuff. And so it's implied that it's a smart home. And it could be anything but.
Yeah.
Right. So all of a sudden that buyer buys a house, they come in, they use their key to get into the house, and then they can't adjust the thermostats. They can't turn on their TVs. They can't do anything. So it's really a dumb home. So we're trying to bring that up to the forefront, right, with our smart home assessment program.
Steve, as an agent, have you had experience with stuff like this?
Yeah, actually, our last two listings that we just put up, and both of them are multi-million-dollar listings, one in Chandler, one in Paradise Valley, and they're beautiful homes. You got a mid-century modern that's in Paradise Valley, and then a big Tuscan home over 6,300 square feet that was in Chandler. And both of those properties, I had Ray come out and do smart assessments on. Reason being, obviously, if you're in a high dollar area, city, whatever, if you will, or you're buying a big multi-million-dollar property, you want to make sure that it's secure. You want to make sure that you can handle everything from your pocket. Yeah,
the people buying these homes, they know how to cross T's and dot I's, because they wouldn't be buying that house if they could. So you want to make sure you got a good team member to make sure. And again, absolutely. Danny, you see this in sometimes with the financing. Let's talk jumbo financing just for a second. What are we seeing out there for jumbo options out there?
Jumbo options, the people need to know when they go into a jumbo home that the down payment requirements are a lot different on jumbo requirements. The debt to income ratio, like we've discussed in the past, they're a lot different. The investors are looking at that as a higher risk, so you have to always put 20% down on a jumbo loan, right? A lot of these guys have that cash if they're going to be purchasing a jumbo home, but the difference in payments might, go up or down. What I'm seeing is that the jumbo spot right now are people like $1 to $1.2 million purchase prices. If they can put down an extra $50,000 to keep that loan amount at $806,500, which keeps it into a conforming conventional loan, that changes the whole ballgame. So people say, okay, I want to put 20% down, but for that extra 50 or 60 grand, they can drop their rate down, by maybe a half or a full percent just by staying underneath that jumbo criteria, which is really huge. You know what I mean?
This is why you need a good lender, a good coach to see the different options. Now, tell us the pricing on these two different homes. One's Paradise Valley, one's Chandler.
Yeah, the one in Chandler is $2.499 million, and then the one in Paradise Valley is listed at $6 million.
Describe the Chandler one. Just kind of give us a feel for what that looks like. What is that?
Sure. So it's 7 bedrooms, 6.5 bathrooms, 6,338 square feet on 1.25 acres. No HOA. It's actually deemed for horse property as well if they want. Basketball court, putting green, RV garage that was just built as well, and epoxy floored throughout. Just an absolutely beautiful property.
We'll get your address after the show, and we'll go to the MLS or Zillow and pull those photos down, and we'll put some of those photos in as we're talking. Now, the other one's in Paradise Valley. What's that one?
Yeah, that one is actually backing the 17th hole of Camelback Golf Course in the country club. So that one, the main property is a little over 3,900 square feet, and then it has a separate guest house that's a little over 1,100 square feet. In total, 4 bedrooms, 6.5 bathroom as well on 1.25 acres. I just feel like that lot itself, in the area that it is, you just see what's happening in that area. They're tearing down, they're building modern.
Yeah.
This property was built in 1974. It was based on the Frank Lloyd Wright builds. So a lot of flagstone throughout the property. It's again, a gorgeous home.
Okay, so you deal in this area because people buying a home that price, they're going to need that security. Tell us, what are the options for the new stuff out there? What do they got?
Oh, new and current. It's great. And so I want to give a big high five to Steve because he's really embraced our smart home assessment program, where he's separated himself versus other brokers and realtors. Right, is that he is diving in fearlessly to understanding what that home that he's listing not only structurally can do, but from a smart home standpoint can do. So when the potential buyer asks their agent, like, hey, I see all this stuff. Does it actually work? What's going on? Because they're pretty savvy, like you said, Rex. They're pretty savvy guys, right? He can actually talk about it and say, hey, I had a smart home assessment done. Here's exactly what it can and can't do. Or, hey, here's our entry-level package just saying, just an overall evaluation of what the home can do. So.
Yeah, and we've had this challenge with solar, guys, right? Okay, look, first of all, let's educate the audience a little bit. Sometimes these solar packages are leased, right?
Correct.
So, in fact, you've dealt with these, Steve. What happens? What hoops do people have to jump through and when they're buying a home that's got a solar leasing package on it?
That's a great question, and Danny could probably answer it better than me because a lot of it has to do with lending. I run into situations where somebody's pre-qualified, let's say, for instance, for a $500,000 home. And if the solar is leased and that solar lease is about $30,000, $40,000, that person has to be pre-qualified for 530, 540. Is that correct, Danny?
Yeah, it adds to that debt-to-income ratio.
Yes, and one of the hardest things that I've started to see, maybe on the lower price range, maybe 350 to 500, where somebody qualifies for the house, but then they also have to qualify for the solar too. So when you have to take over that solar lease, some of these solar companies, sometimes they take 15, 20, 30 days just to get back to you, just to say that if their buyer's approved or not. And so it's very important to start that approval process as soon as you're into contract.
That's why when we come to these security systems, sometimes they're monthly payments. Is that right to describe? I don't know it that well. Do they have leased equipment on that stuff?
No. Typically, what they do, it's homeowner owned, right? It's part of the fabric of the home. What we are seeing, though, right, which is just as important, is during the time of the walkthrough, when the buyer's looking at the home, they see all this gear, right, and nobody's really documenting that gear. Meaning, audio video receivers, controllers, you name it, right? And then all of a sudden they buy the home and they walk into the home and all of a sudden it's different gear there because the existing homeowner is actually taking the good stuff and leaving and buying stuff on Craigslist or OfferUp.
Wait. Now let's make sure everybody understands something. If something's attached, you're not supposed to detach it and take it with you.
That's right.
That's a big no-no in real estate, right?
Right.
And so you're saying...
So this stuff would be just like a tabletop microwave as an example, right? So if you have an audio video receiver that's running, say, multi-zone audio in the home, right?
And it's
not
sitting
attached.
on a table.
It's not attached, but they've advertised it as a smart home.
Tell us some of the technology with wireless, cordless packages. What do you get out there nowadays?
You get a mixed bag, right? And there's certain scenarios where we definitely want to go wireless, right? Because there is no other way to do it. Let's say you have a Tuscan home, flat roof, right? You have no way to pull a new wire.
No attic.
No attic, no nothing, right? So that's where wireless can come into play. Wireless, as far as security with Power G, is fantastic. It can be 2,000 feet free air for a contact, which means that it works as good as a wired contact, right? When you come into other technologies like distributed audio, we definitely try to go hardwired. We're a huge fan of, say, Sonos, to drop a product name on there, because it's considered like, hey, this is a wireless product. Well, control of it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but it plugs into power, so there's a wire there. But then if you use a Sonos amplifier, you still run wires to the actual amplifier. So when we come into a smart home assessment, we look at multiple things, right? And then we score them, right? Like we have IQ 1 for, hey, this sucks, right?
Yeah.
IQ 10, which is great, you know what I mean? And IQ 100, which is like, hey, this is ready to rock and roll, man. This is you're good to go. But we'll check out the infrastructure, right, existing, what we can do to add additional infrastructure if there's pathways, right?
Attics.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
We will look at the equipment that's there, right, and say, okay, hey, this is either dated, legacy, or hey, there's still some warranty on this, right? Is this manufactured on a different platform now, and can you buy new gear to keep everything working throughout the house? So we do a pretty good evaluation. We can also have people that say, hey, we're buying this $10 million home. There's a $250,000 AV system in here. Let's just say Crestron or whatever. We'll bring in a company and we'll reverse engineer it, because what people don't realize about Crestron is that program is proprietary to that programmer, that person, right? And they really kind of own that home.
Wow.
Right. And so we want to try to mitigate those type of challenges. It could be tens of thousands of $20,000s to just get that home transferred over and up how the new homeowner wants to have the program.
And describe some of the bells and whistles that these homes have. Describe it. Wow us with the technology.
Well, my favorite stuff today, man, is basic lighting control through Lutron, right? Raw 3, it's awesome, right? Super simple.
So putting lights up, putting different rooms.
Yeah, dimmers and switches. And what's great, there's an app on the phone to where the homeowner actually is empowered to be able to adjust those settings themselves, right? Those scenes themselves. I love security, not from a monitoring standpoint, but from like a home assistant standpoint, man. Like, I'm super busy. I know a lot of the listeners are super busy. So I actually use my alarm system as a home assistant, so I know when people are coming and going. It'll, they disarm or arm the alarm. It sends me an alert, right? Cameras, the whole deal. So I love all that stuff.
And a lot of people on their property, just for insurance and security, when these large properties, you got to know who's coming across your backyard.
Yep.
And if anybody gets hurt, you want to have kind of a record of it, right?
100%. So other things that are really huge today, right, is because of the simplicity of smart homes is distributed audio. So what that means is you're home on the weekend and it's game day, or you're doing your chores or whatever, we can now easily stream music through every part of the house, right, at a great price point. It's all controlled right from the phone. You can have one thing going in room A, another thing going in room B. You're watching a football game in the living room, but you got a barbecue outside, right? Like, what dad wants to miss the game, right? So then couple clicks of the button, he's now listening to the game over his pool speakers while he's barbecuing. Yeah, so it's really cool stuff.
And you're in these higher end homes. This is what the bells and whistles they have in these homes.
Oh yes, absolutely. Or the ones that they should have in these homes, And personally, I mean, let me keep myself a little modest here. My home is a very modest home. My personal home is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,650 square feet. But I have an 18-year-old daughter. Yeah. So when it comes to having security, when I first bought my property, I was the guy that bought a whole bunch of Ring cameras, including one for the side of the house to make sure that she wasn't sneaking out the window.
We've all been teenagers, and we all have teenagers.
Yeah, we have, yeah. But, after seeing Ray come to these properties and do smart home assessments, I honestly cannot wait to have him come out to mine as well.
And you can roll those into financing if it's done right.
Oh, absolutely. Cash out refinances, home equity line of credits are really big right now with those people that got locked in at 3%, some years ago. HELOCs are really big. And people can go for $30,000, $40,000 and spend a few $100s a month and really transform their house into something that's can also add value to the house too.
Yeah, and that's the key, especially in these higher end homes. Absolutely. I mean, seriously, Ray, it's becoming when you're $1 million plus, they've got to have some sort of security system. They got to have some sort of video system. They got to have some sort of smart. And we're talking about the thermostat controls.
Sure. Here's what I tell builders all the time, man. And I know I'm going to get a bunch of hate for this, but it's true, and they know it's true, right? Builders build a great brick and mortar home that the customer, the homeowner is going to live in every day, and it's beautiful, and that's how they function. Okay, with smart technology today, we bring how they live in the home. How they live in the home, and that's so important, right? Especially with how busy everybody is today.
And I got to add this too. When you're, by the way, I happen to be a general contractor. When you build a home and you're in the framing stage, you could put conduit in there. For pulling wires later, so you don't have to get up in the attic, right?
Yep.
So it just takes a little bit of thinking, a little bit of planning, and then you've already got the conduit there. So if the system gets old, boom, you just pull new wire.
You got it.
That's the planning. That's why we need to make Ray part of this whole conversation that we're having. Got to wrap up here. Give us a phone number. How can people reach you?
602-465-2800. Call or text, and that's 602-465-2800.
And Danny, it's important for people to get pre-qualified even if they don't think they can afford a home. Don't you? You coach people.
Yes, get pre-qualified. Let's just start the game plan. Plan for a few years down the road. It's a long game.
2 years. I mean, sometimes the credit needs to work. Sometimes they need to make a little bit more money, but you do free education. And Steve, how do we reach you? Phone number?
Phone number 602-695-0459. Again, 602-695-0459.
And for the smartest homes you can get, Ray?
Ray Jones, Audio Video 360, 623-337-1234. 623-337-1234, and what we do doesn't suck.
There you go. Hey, guys, thanks so much. It's been a great show. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I got to wrap up the show. Again, my name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the show. If you missed something, go to our website, 123bz.com. 123, the numbers, B as in boy, Z as in zebra.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.